Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. We continue our head-to-head 9 reviews with semifinal number 2. This is featuring the Serial Killers versus the Adventurers Club. Today we're going to cover the Serial Killers part. This is Happy Valley Hangzhou. This is 35% from Saxman 1089, 35% from Liam, 25% from Mama Rios, and 5% from Coaster Bill. We will cover this one, and then in the next video we will cover the Adventurers Club Park with a special guest. So this is a fun part for me, knowing that I'm a huge fan of realism and just park chains and things like that. So this is based on the Happy Valley chain of parks, which is a chain in China. It's got 9 or 10 parks now, I think, part of the overseas Chinatown developments. So this is sort of a amalgamation of a bunch of different Happy Valleys, kind of taken and squeezed into a tight little map here. I think what strikes me on this one, and hopefully you'll see this as we go around, is how much they were able to cram in here. There's a lot of very distinctive parts and pieces of this map on, I mean, a head-to-head size map. Granted, it's the semifinals where you get a little more room, but still, there's a lot going on in here. So let's start in the front. We have our entrance here. This is a nice approximation of the Happy Valley kanji from the characters from in Chinese. Got our name here and flags and everything. Nice understated entrance. The Happy Valley parks all have kind of very different entrances. So this one is pulled largely from Shanghai, I think. But it looks nice. I kind of like these arches on either on the sides here, and then this sort of nice entrance in the way. As you come in, you're greeted with a KFC because, of course, KFC is pretty popular in China. I know I ate there at a couple theme parks while I was out and about. And then on the other side, there's some just general buildings and stuff. We get our first mural up here. This little space guy cruising through the rainbow. There's a lot of sculptural type stuff, mural type stuff, a lot of sort of big, bold artwork in the Happy Valley parks, and I think that's one of the things that this park does really well. And as we get into here, you'll see we've got this entrance sign on this side, and then our Happy Time area here with the clowns. This is great. This is really, really good in my opinion, and very much reflects what you see from Happy Valley Park. They're reasonably well themed. I feel like it's more superficial than properly good theming in a lot of cases, but it exists and the theming is there. So let's start in this direction. We've got a double-decker carousel here using Kinos's custom carousel that he made for the Japan park. A double S&S tower here, and a kids coaster, sort of, kind of, and a wacky worm. That's the layout that you typically see from kids coasters in at the Happy Valley parks. We get into our sort of beach area here, and what I like about this is another sort of Happy Valley thing, or I guess you could call it Chinese parks in general, inconsistencies, because we also have the North Pole Christmas, the North Pole Adventure ride here. If we spin around, we can kind of see some of the details here, which, by the way, this is a super cool detail, using the coaster and the sleigh as a target shooter there. So this is based off of a real attraction. North Pole Adventure is an attraction in some of the early Happy Valley parks where, you get to shoot at Santa with your laser guns. It's a very oddball ride and doesn't really fit into any kind of larger context area. It's a thing, and it's fantastic. So I'm really happy to see they included that one. That's one of those sort of enthusiast staples that I feel like you gotta pick up every now and then. Loving the floor here with the fish, and there's some jellyfish in here. Brightly colored concrete, painted concrete, and just things in the ground is a pretty common trope that you see over there also. Love this shark with sunglasses, and got our little freighters here in the middle to drive around, and then our entrance across this sort of gangway to the coaster here. So this is Sunshine Family Invert Coaster. Again, sort of the Chinese-ish names. Some of these are maybe a little bit excessive as far as what you would actually see from a Happy Valley park, but not totally. You know, are some kind of crazy translations from the actual Chinese. So this is a B&M Junior inverted coaster. So Happy Valley Beijing and Happy Valley Shanghai both have a B&M one that suspiciously resembles the Vekoma layout. Little crabs here hanging out. But a nice little layout. I like the ship as the station, and then also this backdrop on the backside of the building here. It's a very kind of Happy Valley-esque detail. And then our little creature here, our orca, that you can walk in through, which is cute. Stepping into sort of this adventure temple type area, we've got a water splash ride here, Tempestuous Wave. Squeezed the heck in the map, which I'm very impressed with. But it looks good. Looks really nicely put together here. I kind of like how, go back to this, how the rock work just ends and it's up on the building here. So very nice details as you might expect. Good splash right there at the bridge and all the typical details you would see. This is a little more compact than you're typically going to see from one of these, but given the space constraints from head to head, totally get it. We'll jump over here to the SLC. So this is Ancient Python in Jungle, which kind of takes its name from one of the Sunak Park GCIs over there, it sounds like, and the Intamin Giga, I suppose. Custom layout here. I maybe would have gone with the standard layout. There's a couple of variations of it rather than a custom, but a couple things that I like here are the different colored pieces of track. That's a nice little detail there as far as wornness and just sort of garishness goes. So liking that. This rockwork is very reminiscent of the B&M Flyer at Happy Valley Beijing. And it's got this sort of very impressive nature to it, even being taller than the ride itself. So that's very cool. Maybe a little bit more texture and color and stuff, but the form work is pretty neat. I love how the coaster wraps around it. I think this element, this kind of wave turn thing, is very cool. The way that it sort of swoops up and over this diagonal or half diagonal bridge. Big fan of that in general. Here on this side, we've got a Happy Valley Shenzhen delivery, which they're saying, no, this is the Hangzhou Park. It's funny. I was able to visit Happy Valley Shenzhen and also Happy Valley in Wuhan while I was over there, so those are the ones that I am most familiar with, but would certainly like to go see some others. All right, so spin around, and we've got a swing ride here. Very nice little swing ride. The backside of our mural building here has got some other little details, and then we've got this lighthouse. This kind of cute as we transition into this other space. Here's actual real panda, which and then panda handler, which also a true thing. I got a photo with a red panda in my lap. I was at Happy Valley Wuhan. That totally a thing, and very cool. Another good detail added in there. So let's transition over into this sort of Tibetan type region as we get into some of this kind of nice architecture here. I really like this building and just some of the details here. I will never get tired of the keyboard symbols being used to represent Asian text, just because it's probably the best way to still do it even after all these years. Swing ride here, the giant swinging disc ride, pretty on the nose right there, but I remember riding a chair swing called Swiftly Chair over there, so can't fault it again. All right, so this is Flying Over Cloud and Mountain. This is B&M Hypercoaster, and it's a beautiful layout, one of the best layouts in the park, in my opinion. B&M Hypers are tough, especially sort of the sort of miniature ones, and this one does a really nice job at being not totally out and back, but not really unrealistic. It's got the nice, couple diagonals here, the nice big floating hills. Really, it just takes the out and back and makes it into a big triangle. So cool layout. Really well done, in my opinion. One of the better layouts in the park and maybe in the contest. It is a really nice design there. A couple other bits and pieces here. Our action tiger with a little tiger here, and then just some of these other little animal rides. We've got the spinning cock crow at dawn, of course, And we get the monkey hopper right here. Here's the mouse cheese rat chase for the top spin. All fun, fun, good little names. And just kind of this animal area in general is pretty cool. Here's the little pig up there, and on the corner here, we've got the horses in here, and the coin-operated horse, all those fun things. And then our dragon here. So this is the last coaster. This one is Soaring with Dragon. I'm not certain if it's supposed to be an SNS or a Premier or an Intamin. Kind of sort of reminds me of the SNS coasters from Happy Valley, Shenzhen, Wuhan, and Beijing. So I'm kind of going with that mostly. It's got a pretty nice layout. I like the way that it interacts with the B&M Hyper over here. I think that's pretty nicely done. This roll is cool through the middle there, and this dive down underneath of the entrance. This is a really nice little detail here, just um, with the dive down underneath, and then this kind of pathway detailing here. You've got your phases of the moon, I suppose, as it comes around. So very nicely done. You can tell they did a little bit of research here on the overall space. Outside the park itself, we've got a couple of buildings here for context. A lot of these Happy Valley parks are built pretty in urban areas, so there are a lot of these kind of flats on either side. These are looking maybe a little bit clean, perhaps a little bit sterile, but given the space, there's not a whole lot of region, I guess, to develop out some more specific details and things like that. But a little bit of trash, a little bit of things like that here might help that out for sure. But I do love the sort of overgrownness of the space on and around the park itself. Um, there's a little show here in the middle. We've got a pretty small lagoon, but it's still managing to use the an object you would never really expect to see used in anything outside of Stardust Circuit. But nonetheless, there we are. I like the overall form of all the different curves used here. It's consistent, which is nice. Kind of using that across here, over in this side to really develop out the pathways. The curves and diagonals and half diagonals are sort of a definite design choice, but when you stick with it, or when you set up one, you kind of have to stick with it and carry it through to the rest. So I'm glad that they've done that here, because really it brings it together and kind of shows that you've thought through the whole space a little bit. And then just all the nice little details here. More of these awnings. Folsomir's team's awnings are getting a whole lot of mileage throughout this whole contest, as are a lot of the objects and rides we've seen throughout. But I think what's impressive to me on this one is just how well they've squeezed in a ton of stuff in a very small space. We've got 3 big adult coasters and 1 kind of medium size, and then a kids coaster, all put into this park. None of them feeling cramped. None of them feeling like they're overlapped with other things. And one of the first parks we've seen in a while in this contest where it's not totally stacked and layered, and you got to use cutaway to see some of the things. Otherwise, you're not going to see it all. So that is kind of impressive alone, that they brought that sort of a park. And I think I can respect that a lot, because I appreciate something that's readable straight on, and it's just a nicely put together composition park. So credit to them for that, and certainly a well deserved semifinals entry. Uh, we're gonna end it there, and we will pick up in the next video with the Adventurers Club Park, and we will see who comes out the victor on this one. Until next time, thank you guys very much for watching. Congratulations to the Serial Killers for this great park, and just the other good parks they've put together here so far. After we do our semifinals, we will then go through a third place match, and then take a look at the finals. We'll probably do those one at a time. But until next time, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Catch you in the next one. Bye now.